Now over to the United States, where Tuesday's midterm elections will determine whether Democrats maintain majorities or if Republicans seize power in the House of Representatives and the Senate, both of which are up for grabs, with some Republican candidates already crying foul on so-called election integrity. Nonpartisan groups are keeping a close eye on the process.
Tuesday's general election will mark the end of early and in-person ballot casting in the 2022 midterm elections. Democrats currently hold thin margins in Congress, but if history is any indicator, President Joe Biden's party could lose dozens of seats in the House of Representatives and a handful in the Senate, enough to flip control of Congress for the Republican Party. Democrats say the Supreme Court ruling earlier this year overturning a woman's right to an abortion will drive voters to the polls despite rising inflation hurting ordinary Americans.
And even though our economy is tough, people think about it and say, wait a minute, this is the party trying to protect unions. This is the party that made sure we did things to lower prescription drug costs and lower health care costs. That this is the party, at the end of the day, that's trying to protect fundamental freedoms like the right to control your own body. So I think that this is a tough election season. It's a midterm election, but I still see a pathway for us to maintain control of the Senate.
Some Republican candidates have made election integrity a cornerstone of their campaigns, clinging to former President Donald Trump's false claims of a stolen election in 2020. So places like the Carter Center in Atlanta, founded by former President Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind, train nonpartisan observers to monitor elections in Fulton County, Georgia, in a state that has increasingly become one of the tightest races for Senate. Democrat and pastor Raphael Warnock faces Republican and former football player Herschel Walker in the closely watched race.
Americans themselves are starting to have less faith in elections, less public confidence. And so we view nonpartisan observation as one step among many by different actors, but that we can do as election observers to try to bring more understanding and confidence to election processes.
Elsewhere in Pennsylvania, Democrats have seen early leads evaporate as the Senate race between Democrat Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman and celebrity Dr. Mehmet Oz, a Trump-backed Republican, is closer than it has been in months. President Biden told reporters in San Diego he's optimistic about Democrats' chances in this election, but Republicans say they see a clear path to victory.
This is going to be a wake-up call to President Biden, and I hope he answers it, because what's happened over the last 2 years has really caused a lot of problems in America. I hope that President Biden sees what Americans are going to say to him on Tuesday, which is we're not happy, and we need a different agenda. And I think that a Republican-led House and a Republican-led Senate are going to work to deliver on promises made, and I hope Joe Biden listens.
The New York Times reports more than 32 million votes had already been cast as of Thursday, some of which can't be counted until after election night. Arash Arabasadi, VOA News.